Hello and welcome to the Sparkling Autos YouTube channel. We have the return of ValetPRO to the channel today, but if you haven't seen my review of the Citrust pre-wash or don't remember the outcome, well, it wasn't a pretty one. So let's recap what happened. So, it didn't go well, but credit where it's due. When ValetPRO saw the video, they contacted me very professionally and we had an open discussion about a number of things. As a result, they asked if I'd be interested in testing a whole range of their products, including one which they suggested would have been more suited to a car in the Mini's condition at the time, their Snow Foam Combo 2, and that's exactly what we're going to look at today. So what is it? Well, essentially, this is the strongest in ValetPRO's range of pre-washes, so if there's one in there which can succeed with a Citrus pre-wash field, this is their best hope. And in true Quick Test Tuesday style, I'm going to use it exactly as instructed and see what happens, so let's get on with it. And yes, even the test subject is going to be the same, as I want to replicate the test conditions as much as possible. So for that reason, the Mini hasn't been washed here for a couple of months, well that's my excuse anyway, as I wanted to get as much winter grime stuck to it as possible. It also had no protection at this stage, as I didn't want any sacrificial barrier between the paintwork and the dirt, and there is a good reason for this. You see, unlike ValetPRO's other pre-wash products, this one doesn't make any LSP safe claims, nor is it some pH neutral, I'll be gentle on you I promise type of product. This claims to be a no nonsense, clean the dirt, degrease the paintwork and strip the waxes and sealants snow foam. And if ValetPRO are brave enough to make those claims, and send it to someone that they already know from experience, will put them to the test rather than just say everything is awesome, well then fair play to them and game on. Starting off with the instructed dilution of 1 to 3, I'm adding 100 ml of product to 300 ml of water. Now there's variable dilution rates available on the website, but I'm replicating the previous test as much as possible and going with the bottle ratio. The main difference this time being that this is a snow foam being applied by a lance, rather than through a pump sprayer like the Citrus was. Now that doesn't make this an unfair test, as these are two different types of product, and if anything, being lance applied means that the actual panel impact ratio will be significantly lower for the snow foam, so it'll have to work even harder. Well, first things first, it certainly lives up to the claim of being a high foaming pre-wash. Granted, at 250 ml per litre, it is much stronger dilution than I'm used to working with. But now that I've seen it applied in its raw form, I'll revert back to my own application method and try to thin it down a bit. If you're not a regular viewer to the channel, I've recently uploaded a video showing my own pre-wash application method, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description. It is definitely worth a watch, but basically I put a watery layer of foam on before the thicker layer, and I find it gives me better consistency and I end up with better results. Top tip, I always think it's a good idea to use the dwelling time to rinse out your lance. I prefer to draw up a couple of 100 ml of hot water through first, and then use the lance itself to rinse the bottle out. I've been doing this for years and I rarely have to change any gauzes or filters. Soft water helps too though. Of course, all of the bottle's claims are worthless if the product doesn't perform, so let's get it rinsed off and see if it's as good as they say, or if it's joining its sibling in the bin. Well, we're certainly off to a very promising start, but as you may have noticed throughout this video, I'm actually quite congested today recording this, so I'm going to be quiet for a while and just let the results speak for themselves. I did find it strange that it didn't shift this little mark, but I'll come back to that later and we'll get on with the rinsing. Just a couple of quick points I want to make here. By my own admission, I think I was too busy trying to get the footage to look right and was probably going a bit too quick, not really giving the water pressure a chance against some of these larger dirt spots. Secondly, there's also an awful lot of tar on both sides of the car and indeed on the front bumper, which you'll see later on. But as far as snow foams go, this is certainly living up to its place within the ValetPRO system as a very powerful and capable pre-wash product. So I'll get the rest off and we'll look at the final results. The first thing I want to touch on was this little mark. Now if you're relatively new to this car cleaning pastime, don't let things like this live in your head too much. Sometimes you just get a little spot, it could be a greasy fingerprint or some other unexplained stain that the strongest pre-washes can't shift, yet the lightest touches remove them. Don't let that bother you, it's just one of those things. But what about the rest of the car? Well, I have to say that as far as cleaning power goes, this has definitely done what it says on the tin. Well, bottle. Of course, there will be tar spots left behind, but going around the car and that's pretty much all there is. Is it a completely contactless wash? Well, no, and no product is completely contactless. Or at least, I've never used a pre-wash that I would then be happy dragging a drying towel over the car afterwards. But, like I've said before, what I look for in a capable pre-wash is one that I would be happy following up with a contact wash, content that I had minimised the risk of marring the paintwork, and in that regard, this one ticks the boxes. So I guess that just leaves one question. Well, to be honest, from the second I started rinsing that rear bumper, I knew this one was a winner, and it's restored my faith in the brand. Now I just can't wait to get stuck into the rest of the range, so stay tuned. For now though, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one. Take care.